Well, hi, this is Shirley from Shirley's Art Ventures.
And today I am going to show you some swatches using Karen yarn and this sage green color and different size crochet hooks. So I'm going to do a 10 stitch swatch, and from the size of the crochet hooks we're going to see how far the yarn goes. So with this little demonstration I cut off about 2 yards of yarn here, and I did some ahead of time, so I'm just going to show you one of the sizes of the crochet hooks. So I have a Karen Simply Soft in the white sage. So I'm going to set that aside. And the crochet hooks I have a size J and a size I, which is 5.5 millimeters. Sometimes they say the millimeter, sometimes not. This one here, it says size J or size 10. This one says 5.5, which is a size I. A size 8, which is a 5 millimeter hook, H8, and a size G6, which is a 4.25 millimeter hook, and a size F. When I started doing my amigurumis, I would use the larger hooks, and as time went on, I kept going smaller and smaller. So I actually started on the I hook, and now I am down to the F hook for my amigurumi. Scarves sometimes will take the bigger hooks. It all depends on the size of the yarn you're using and the kinds of the yarn you're using. But for this demonstration, I am just going to use this I gotta look here, this ply Karen yarn, which is a medium strength yarn, and they recommend a I or an H hook. So I am going to be demonstrating with the H hook how to crochet a simple swatch. Okay, so this is going to be 10 stitches, so I'm going to be starting with my simple little slip knot here. There we have the slip knot, and we're going to be crocheting a chain of 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all my swatches are going to be 10, and then you have to crochet one extra one as you're turning crochet. Then I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to go back and forth with a single crochet until I run out of yarn. And actually I ran out of yarn faster than I thought I would on the swatches. I guess I thought, 2 yards of yarn would go a long ways. So I'm just crocheting back along the chain. I'm putting in the top loop. Some patterns say you should put it under the V. Well, I find if I put it under the top loop, it actually works better. It's easier to get it through that, and when you're going around the outside of a project, you have another loop to work with. So once I get across the other side, and I probably should have brought my counter. I didn't think of that. So I can keep track of the number of rows here. I will grab a piece of paper, and we'll just keep track that way. So I did row 1, and now I'm going to start on row 2. Somehow after crocheting all these years, I still can't seem to count rows very easily. So I'm going to crochet across row 2. Try not to get it to split. And then in the end, we're just going to measure all the swatches together and just look at them and see the difference in them with the different hook sizes. Another thing you can do is you can take different yarn sizes and use one hook and see the differences in your swatches that way. Oftentimes patterns will say like a 2-inch swatch is how many stitches, or they have some measurement, so like if you're making amigurumi or if you're making scarves, you just kind of keep going until you feel like you have completed your task. But if you're making something like a sweater, you might actually need to know the right measurement. And then you can decide, if the pattern calls for a certain hook size, will that hook work for you, or may you need to go up a size or go down a size? Like with my amigurumi, I started probably with a size I, then I went to this one an H, and I started with a thicker yarn, and then I kind of settled in on this yarn, the Karen or Karen yarn. I just felt it was soft and pliable, and it worked out well with my amigurumi characters. I have used some smaller yarn too, but I seem to keep going back to this. So this is a good yarn for me. It's fairly cheap. Oh, actually quite cheap. There's other yarn out there that you can order special for amigurumi, and you can't really find that in your local shops like your Joann's and your Michael's. You might be able to find it in a specialty yarn shop, and I think a lot of yarn is made overseas. My mom said she would get yarn from Turkey, where I guess they must have a yarn manufacturing over there. I didn't realize that, but my mom said that, and sure enough, I look at some yarn and they say they were made in Turkey. So yeah, my family, they're out there talking away, they're watching sports or something. Today was opening day of baseball season, and the Brewers lost. They were playing the Cubs, and it was kind of a rainy, icky day today. Well, here, I'm supposed to be counting. I was 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I'm on my 4th or 5th one. See, I forget to count, and then I don't know where I'm at. But I just keep going until I run out of yarn, and then so all the swatches have the same length of yarn used, and I go until I really can't go anymore, which I guess I'm kind of at that point right now. So this last row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has 5 stitches. So this is size 8, and I believe I did 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 rows, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 stitches. So that makes everything on an equal level. I did a swatch for each of these. So this is H right here, and J, which is a bigger hook, is this one. I, and G, that's kind of out of range here, and F. And then here's the corresponding hooks to those different swatches. So, and then we're just going to quickly measure these swatches and compare them. So I spice it up. And there we have F, and F measures approximately, let's see, 2.5 inches across. And then G, the measurement of G, is approximately a little more than 2.5 inches across. So we can put those side by side. And I is about 2.5. You look at them side by side. Yes, it is a little bit longer. And H, they're pretty much the same size, which kind of amazes me. That's the one I just did. Of course, I'm sweaty, so I'm probably crocheting tighter. And J is distinctly bigger. So they're pretty comparable in size here if you look at the different ones. ones. So I think you crochet with whatever's comfortable, but I used to do a lot of crocheting with size I, and for scarves I think that works, but for my amigurumi I really needed to go down to the smaller sizes. And the biggest thing about the smaller sizes of hooks is sometimes it splits and it doesn't work. So you have to do the size that works with your hook and it doesn't split. And then with your measurements, if you need a certain width or length of fabric or yarn, you have to match it to what you need. So it is important to do a swatch, and then you might need to calculate. So if you find out your 10 stitches makes 2.5 inches, you need a pattern that's like 5 inches, then 2 of those is okay. But at this size here might make a little bit larger swatch, you may go down to a smaller needle to get the right size that you want without increasing your stitches. So this is the first time I don't usually swatch out stuff. I usually just crochet because I do amigurumi and I do hats and I do scarves, and you can just keep adding on. But to be a really good crocheter, you should do the swatches like this. So anyway, I hope you enjoy my little swatch demonstration. So this is Shirley from Shirley's Art Ventures, and we'll see what I come up with for another time. So see you later.